Okay, this is chapter 26 of Prodigy. Day. By the time I reach the Capitol Tower, I'm soaked in sweat. My body burns with pain. I go around to one of its sides that isn't facing the main square, then survey the crowd as people shove roughly past me in both directions. All around us are blinding jumbotrons, each displaying the exact same thing. The young elector pleading in vain with the people to return home and stay safe, to disperse before things get out of hand. He's trying to console them by dictating his plans for reforming the Republic, doing away with the trials, and changing the way their career assignments are given. But I can tell this gaudy political talk isn't going to come close to satisfying the crowd. And even though Andon is older and wiser than June and me, he's missing that crucial piece. The people don't believe him, and they don't believe in him. I bet Congress is watching all this with delight. Razor, too. Does Andy even know that Razor was the one behind the plot? I narrow my eyes, then leap up to grab the second-floor ledge of the wired building. I try to pretend that June is right behind me, cheering me on. The speakers do seem to be wired up the way Kate had described back when we were in Lamar. I bend down at the ledge right below the rooftop to study the wires. Yep, wired in almost the same way I'd done it on the night I first met June in that midnight alley where I'd asked her for plague cures through the speaker system. Except this time I'll be speaking not to an alleyway, but to the Republic's entire capital, to the country. The wind stings my cheeks and whistles past my ears in gales, forcing me to constantly adjust my footing. I could die right now. I have no way of knowing if the soldiers on the rooftops will shoot me down before I can reach relative safety behind a balcony's wall of glass, dozens of feet above the rest of the crowd. Or maybe they'll recognize who I am and hold their fire. I climb until I reach the 10th floor, the same floor that the elector's balcony is on, then crouch for a second to look down. I'm high enough. The instant I turn the corner of this building, everyone will see me. The masses are most concentrated on this side, their faces turned up to the elector, their fists raised in anger. Even from here, I can see how many of them have that scarlet streak painted into their hair. Apparently, the Republic's attempts to outlaw it don't work so well when everyone wants to do it. On the edges of the square, street police and soldiers are striking out mercilessly with their batons, pushing people back with rows of transparent shields. I'm surprised there's no shooting. My hands start shaking in rage. There are few things as intimidating as hundreds of Republic soldiers, decked out in faceless riot gear, standing in grim, dark lines against a mass of unarmed protesters. I flatten myself against the wall and take a few breaths of cold night air, struggling to stay calm, struggling to remind myself of June and June's brother and the elector, and that behind some of those faceless Republic masks are good people with parents and siblings and children. I hope Andon is the reason no shots have rung out, that he has told his soldiers not to fire on this crowd. I have to believe that. Otherwise, I'll never convince the people of what I'm about to say. Don't be afraid, I whisper to myself, my eyes squeezed shut. You can't afford it. Then I step out from the shadows, hurry along the ledge until I turn the corner of the building and hop into the closest balcony I can find. I face the central square. The protected balcony glass cuts off about a foot over my head, but I can still feel the wind siphoning in from above. I take off my cap and toss it over the top ledge. It floats down to the ground, carried sideways by the wind. My hair streams out all around me. I bend down, twist one of the speaker's wires, and hold the speaker up like a megaphone. Then I wait. At first, no one notices me, but soon one face turns up in my direction, probably attracted by the brightness of my hair, and then another face, and then another. A small group. It grows into several dozen, all of them pointing up at me. The roars and angry chants below begin to subside. I wonder if June sees me. The soldiers lining other roofs have their guns fixed on me, but they don't shoot. They're stuck with me in this awkward, tense limbo. I want to run, to do what I always do, have always done for the last 5 years of my life, escape, flee into the shadows. But this time I stand my ground. I'm tired of running. The crowd grows quieter as more and more turn their faces up to see me. At first I hear incredulous chatter, even some laughs. That can't be Day. I imagine them muttering to one another. Some imposter, but the longer I stay there, the louder they get. Everyone has turned toward me now. My eyes wander over to where Andon is on his balcony. Even he is looking at me now. I hold my breath, hoping that he doesn't decide to order me shot. Is he on my side? Then they're all chanting my name. Day, day, day. I can hardly believe my ears. They're chanting for me, and their voice echoes down every block and reach every street. I stay frozen where I am, still clinging to my makeshift megaphone, unable to tear my eyes away from the crowds. I lift the speaker to my lips. People of the Republic, I shout, do you hear me? My words blare out from every speaker in the square, probably every speaker in the country for all I know. It startles me. The people below let out a cheer that makes the ground tremble. The soldiers must have gotten a hurried order from someone in Congress, because I see some of them hoist their weapons higher. A single bullet zips through the air and hits the glass, sparking as it goes. I don't move. The elector makes a quick gesture at the guards standing with him, and they all press a hand to their ears and talk into their mics. Maybe he's telling them not to harm me. I force myself to believe that. I wouldn't do that, I shouted in the direction that the lone bullet had come from. Keep yourself steady. The people's cheers turn into a roar. You don't want an uprising, do you, Congress? Day, day, day. Today, Congress, I give you an ultimatum. My eyes shift to the jumbotrons. You've arrested a number of patriots for a crime you are responsible for. Release them. All of them. If you don't, I will call your people to action and you will have a revolution on your hands, but probably not the kind you were hoping for. The civilians scream out their approval. The chants continue at a feverish pitch. People of the Republic, they cheer me on as I continue. Listen to me. Today I give all of you an ultimatum. Their chants go on until they realize that I've fallen silent, and then they too begin to quiet down. I hold the speaker closer. My name is Day. My voice fills the air. I fought the same injustice that you're here to protest right now. I've suffered the same things you suffered. Like you, I've watched my friends and family die at the hands of the Republic's soldiers. I blink away the memories that threaten to overtake me. Keep going. I've been starved, beaten, and humiliated. I've been tortured, insulted, and suppressed. I've lived in the slums with you. I've risked my life for you, and you've risked your lives for me. We have risked our lives for our country, not the country we live in now, but the country we hope to have. You are all, every single one of you, a hero. Joyful cheers answer me, even as guards below try in vain to bring down and arrest stragglers, while other soldiers are trying fruitlessly to disable the rewired speaker system. Congress is afraid, I realize. They're afraid of me like they've always been. So I keep going. I tell the people what had happened to my mother and brothers and what had happened to June. I tell them about the Patriots and about the Senate's attempt to assassinate Andon. I hope Razor's listening to all this and seething. Through it all, the crowd's attention never wavers. Do you trust me? I shout. The crowd answers with a unified voice. The sea of people and their deafening roars are overwhelming. If my mother was still here, if Dad and John were here, would they be smiling up at me right now? I can take a deep, shuddering breath. Finish what you came here to do. I focus on the people and on the young elector. I gather my strength. Then I say the words I never ever thought I'd say. People of the Republic, you know your enemy. Your enemy is the Republic's way of life, the laws and traditions that hold us down, the government that brought us here, the late elector, Congress. I raise my arms and point towards Andon. But the new elector is not your enemy. The people grow silent. Their eyes are forever fixed on me. You think your Congress wants to end the trials or help your families? It's a lie. I point at Andon when I say this, willing myself for the first time to trust him. The elector is young and ambitious, and he is not his father. He wants to fight for you, just as I fight for you. But first he needs you to give him that chance. And if you put your might behind him and lift him up, he will lift us up. He will change things for us, one step at a time. He can build that country we all hope we can have. I came here tonight for you all, and for him. Do you trust me? I lift my voice. People of the Republic, do you trust me? Silence. Then a few chants. More join in. They raise their eyes and fists to me. Their shouts ceaseless, a tide of change. Then raise your voices for your elector as I have, and he will raise his for you. The cheers are deafening, drowning out anything and everything. The young elector keeps his eyes on me, and I realize at last that June is right. I don't want to see the Republic collapse. I want to see it change.